So today I'm doing some orders from home. I have like 4 orders. I did one already at 11:30, but the rest are coming a little bit later. I have one coming up at 1:30. So I'm gonna prep everything that I need for this order. Okay, they got 3 large drinks and I have to put my stickers on them. Here are my stickers. I did get some new ones. I picked some up yesterday because my plan was to get printed cups because I like the way this looks. It looks like it's printed. So I actually found someone who does printed cups and they gave me a really good price. But recently I've just been selling out a lot and I couldn't wait for the cups to arrive because I ran out already and I ran out of stickers and everything. So I have to get some new ones printed and I'm going to be using those just until I get my cups, and it'll be a lot easier. I won't have to spend extra time putting them on, anything like that. So for this order, they got 3 large mazapan lattes. So I'm going to write it on the cup. And they want whole milk and they want cold foam. And it's going to be the same for all of them. So I just write it like that. They actually just texted me right now that they're on their way. So these are the 3 cups and I'm gonna start prepping everything to make the drinks. These are my mazapan lattes and it has cold foam on top. Now I have to go take it outside because they're here to pick them up. And I had to put the ugly lids on them because I didn't have any more of the other ones. So my next orders aren't until like a little while later. But I'm just gonna prep my stuff just so I can have everything in order. So the next one, it's gonna be 2 drinks, and this one is gonna be at 4 p.m. They are getting a churro latte with regular milk and cold foam. Their second drink is a café de olla with regular milk and cold foam. I'm gonna put the name here on this drink, and I need to put the stickers. There's no stickers on these cups. My café de olla, I make the syrup. It's a house-made syrup and it's really good. I actually just made a fresh batch this morning. It's literally right here. This is my café de olla syrup. Now I'm gonna put the sticker on this one, and then I have to check for my next order. So I'm just gonna leave the cups in a cup holder, put them to the side. Okay, this one is gonna be 4 drinks. They're all gonna be regular size. I'm gonna write the pickup for 4 p.m. They want a cookie butter with oats and cold foam. Next one is a mazapan, oats, and cold foam. Then this one is a Spanish with oats and cold foam. Last one is my honey delight with oat milk and cold foam. So that is the following order. I'm gonna put that to the side. Now I have a couple more and I need to go get more cup holders to have them ready. Okay, now my next order is a churro latte. Oh, it's actually 2 drinks. Another one with cold foam. Now I'm using my new stickers. There we go. This is one of my new stickers, and this is my other one. These are actually really good quality stickers. I don't even want to put them on the cups because people just end up throwing them away. So because I like the quality so much, I'm actually gonna order more so that way I can start selling merch. They're like super good quality. This is the next one, and this is a café de olla with regular milk and cold foam. Those 2 drinks, and then I think I have another one. I just have to check. Okay, I do. So it's gonna be 2 drinks, 2 large ones. Okay, so then I get my stickers. Here's the first sticker that I'm gonna put on. These stickers are such good quality. What the heck? I feel so bad for just putting them on a cup. There's that one. And here's the next one. It's also hard to take them off. I can't get over how good these stickers are. What the heck? Okay, so this is gonna be a cookie butter with whole milk and cold foam. The next one is cookie butter with oat milk and cold foam. Let's see if I have another one. Okay, so I think that's it. So in total, I've had 6 orders today. This one has 2. This one has 2. This one has 2. Another one that has 4. This is 4 p.m. This is 3, and this is 3:30. So the 3 and 3:30 are the ones that are next. I'll work on those in a little bit. Okay, so my next order is already here to pick it up. So they have a cookie butter with cold foam. In the top, I put the Biscoff cookies on it. And then the next one is a mazapan with cold foam. The next one is a Spanish latte with cold foam. And then a honey delight with cold foam. The honey delight has honey, vanilla, and cinnamon. And this is their order, and I'm gonna take it out to them right now. So we secured the bag for that order. Now my next one is gonna be at 3. I had someone cancel order, but it's okay. And my next order is gonna be 2 large cookie butter lattes. So this is my next order. This one is a cookie butter with whole milk, and then it's cold foam and cookies on top. Woo! And the next one is also a cookie butter.
Wow.
But this one is with oat milk, and it has cold foam and cookies on top. This is the order. Now I'm gonna go take it to them. Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa. I don't know why I did my hands like that. Hi everyone, my name is Alyssa, and I am the owner of Con Sabor Cafe, and I have been in business for a little bit over a year, and I'm a mobile coffee cart. I mainly sell espresso, but I also have things like Red Bull refreshers, and I also am soon going to have matcha, and I'm also going to be incorporating decaf options and different things like that. If you guys have been following me, you know that there has been like a lot of things going on with my coffee shop. Mainly when I started, I was selling on weekends. I was only doing like farmers markets and little pop-ups, market pop-ups and things like that. And I would only do it on the weekends because I was working a regular 9-to-5 job, but I work at a school. So ever since they went on summer break, I knew that I wanted to sell coffee every day. I remember my last week of work, I was just so excited to finally be done, so that way I could actually sell coffee every day and fulfill that part of me that just wanted to do it. And as soon as school ended the next week, I was like, okay, I need to use this time in order to figure out how I'm gonna sell coffee every day, where I'm gonna sell coffee every day. Just because when you have a coffee cart business, you can't just set up anywhere unless you have like the proper permitting and things like that. So it's a little bit different, the permitting to operate at farmers markets than it is to operate on the street. So I started to get different license and permitting, and I started to sell in Ontario, California, and I was selling at a local business that was just allowing me to sell there. I was doing pretty good. I was selling for like a week. I had some days where I would only sell 2 coffees, some days where I would sell 5, and then some days where I would sell 20. It just depended on the day. It was such a hassle to set everything up, to sit there in the heat, and the days that I was selling, I was in the heat. It was like 80 to 90 degrees, and I would just be sitting there all day for like 8 hours straight, hoping to get sales. And even though I was really tired, I would show up every single day, just because when you're dedicated to your business, you have to make a lot of sacrifices, I realized that, okay, this is one of the sacrifices that I'm gonna have to make in order to make my business progress. So then, while I was selling coffee, my partner got into a motorcycle accident, and it literally happened right in front of me. I'll insert a clip of what it looked like, and I was literally standing right there when it happened. Saw it happen, was terrified because that was one of my biggest fears, because my partner is very much a adrenaline junkie, is always looking for like fun, exciting, dangerous things to do. When they got their motorcycle training to get their motorcycle license, my biggest fear was them getting into an accident, because they say that when you ride a motorcycle, it's not about if you'll get into an accident, it's when. So it was just a little bit scary thinking about all that stuff, and then to think that it actually happened right in front of me, that was the craziest part. I literally had to leave all of my coffee stuff there. I left my cart, my espresso machine, everything. I ended up having somebody clean it up for me and put everything away, but I drove my wife to the hospital, and she ended up fracturing her entire leg, like different bones throughout her leg. But the biggest one was the one right behind her kneecap. There was a bunch of little fractures in there. So when that happened, they were on bed rest, and we were in the hospital for about 3-4 days before we actually came home. And today they're still on bed rest, and it's been like a month and 2 weeks since the accident happened. But when it happened, I couldn't sell coffee. I took those like 4 days that we were in the hospital off from selling coffee, and then I got home, and I think I stayed home for like 2 days just to help them around the house and like get used to walking with a walker and like getting used to going to the bathroom and things like that. And then I finally went back to sell coffee, and it was going like okay for a little bit. I was selling coffees here and there, posting TikToks, posting stuff on social media every day. And then out of nowhere, I had a couple videos go viral. When I had posted those videos, and my mindset was like, because I've experienced viral videos before, but just because you have a viral video doesn't mean that it's going to turn into sales. So in my head, I was like, okay, my video went viral, but you don't know if that's going to turn into sales, so we'll just see how it goes. The day after that video went viral, I set everything up. I remember getting there, and there was already people waiting for me, and I started making coffees. I had about like 15 to 20 people waiting for drinks, and someone from the city came and told me that somebody was making complaints about me being there. I was just confused. They told me that somebody complained that they got food poisoning, and that the person was really upset, and that it was someone that passes by every day, and they just so happened to get a coffee from me and they got food poisoning. And I was like, that just doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me because I sell coffee, and there's no way that anything I serve could have gave them food poisoning, especially because my milks are always fresh. I buy my milks every morning. I buy my supplies every morning. I don't make anything at home. Everything I make there, except for I do have one syrup that I make, but because of the fact that I make that syrup, I only use it for up to like 5 days, and I store it in refrigeration so it doesn't go bad. But I only use it for 5 days, and even if I have a little bit left over, I throw it out, just because you don't want to risk anything with food. But anyway, they didn't even get a drink that had that syrup in it. The guy from the city even told me, he was like, oh, they said they got a churro latte and they got sick from that. So then I was telling the guy from the city, like, that doesn't make sense. Everything's fresh. I only use milk. And he was like, do you use raw milk? And I said, no, I only have oat milk and whole milk, and my machine is only espresso and water. I was even showing him around my booth and everything, and I was telling him that I have access to a sink, I have access to sanitization and everything like that, which is things that are required when you're selling out of a food cart or a coffee cart. He was like, okay, well, like everything looks good, but it is like a serious complaint, so you're gonna have to speak with the health department and see how you can get cleared to sell again. So he was basically telling me that I had to shut down. So I was like, okay, well, can I just finish making the drinks for the people that are already here and they already paid and everything? And he was like, yeah, whatever, go for it. But you do have to like stop taking orders. So I was like, okay. And then he had left to his car, and I was walking up to his car so I can get his business card from him because I wanted to know his name and his number just in case anything happened. So I go up to his window and he rolls the window down and he's like, somebody called again and said you're operating without permits. And he was giving like the impression that it was the same person calling. He felt like someone just really didn't want me there. So he was like, are you selling without permits? And I was like, no, I have everything. And I showed him everything. And he's like, okay, well, you're still gonna have to shut down. And he was like, they actually sent me out here to fine you, but I don't want to fine you. If you keep selling, when I come back, I will have to fine you. So I was like, okay. I finished making everybody their drinks. I started cleaning up and I recorded my experience. I talked about it and I had posted about it too. And I had like 2 suspicions on who it could have been and why it could have happened. My first suspicion was that it was someone that owns a local business down the street that also happens to sell coffee and saw me as competition, which sucks. But the other suspicion of who it could have been is somebody that didn't like my shirt that I was wearing the day before when they supposedly ordered. And I was wearing a shirt that said, no one is illegal on stolen land, and on the back it said, fuck ICE. So I was like, okay, either someone didn't like my shirt or someone sees me as competition, but either way, they don't want me here. So because of that, I ended up closing down in Ontario. I haven't sold there since. I'm just waiting on a lot of things because there's a lot of things happening. There's so much happening because of that situation. So I had posted my videos. I made a post on Instagram. I made a post on TikTok, and both my posts went super viral, and I got a lot of support from TikTok and a lot of support from Instagram. People were just flooding me with nice comments and messages and offering me resources and offering me help and offering me their business to sell at. And I have taken a lot of the opportunities. I ended up selling at a friend's house one day, and that day was the first day that I was selling since the whole incident happened, and I had sold out of over 70 bottles of lattes in less than 2 hours. And I was just so mind blown. It was so crazy. The amount of people that showed up to buy my coffee that day was so crazy. And that day, one of my friends from TikTok actually recorded it and she posted it, and she does content creation, and she posted a video and her video went viral too. From there, I just started getting more and more followers and more people, and a lot of views on my Instagram, a lot of views on my TikTok, just a lot of attention in general. So then after that, I sold again in Fontana, and I sold out of a family member's house. That day that I sold there, I had a line as soon as I got there. I had a line going down the street, and I was supposed to be selling from 9 a.m. to about like 5 p.m. but I had to cut off my orders at like 1:30 because I just had so many. And then I checked how many drinks I sold that day. I sold over 100 drinks in that one day. That was just so crazy to me. That was just so mind-blowing. After that, I actually got offered a spot to sell 3 days out of the week in Upland at a 24-hour fitness. There's a manager there. She was kind enough to offer me the space to sell until I'm able to get back to Ontario. So I know that at least if I'm not selling every day, I can at least sell 3 days out of the week. so that's pretty good. With my business, I have tried so many times to sell from home, but the thing is that I live like up in the desert, so not a lot of people would come this way. I live in the high desert. When I have tried to sell coffee up here, nobody came. Because of this whole situation, I have actually gained a lot of followers and a lot of supporters that are actually up here in the high desert. Because of that, I've also been able to sell from home certain days, and I think it's worked out super good. I think this whole situation, I was devastated in the beginning, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise. I've had so many supporters, so many kind people, so many people giving me their resources and everything, and it's just been such an amazing experience, and I'm truly grateful for it. Because of everything that's happened, it's also allowed me to expand and grow and explore options that I didn't even think that I had. I was already planning on doing upgrades to my coffee cart before the situation happened, but because business was like a little up and down, I was waiting to see when I could do the upgrades on my cart. But because of this whole situation, I'm now able to do the upgrades, which is why it's taking a little longer for me to go back to Ontario. But I know that it's going to be for even better and faster service. I'll be able to have a better workspace. I'll be able to have faster service, be able to have more options and offer more things. And I think I'm just so grateful that this whole situation is allowing me to do this. I've also been on my coffee truck journey. I do have a truck that I'm turning into a coffee truck, but because business again was so up and down, we were delaying on the process because something messed up with the transmission. We were delaying getting it fixed because if you don't know, transmissions are so expensive to fix. But since all of this happened and we're realizing now that we have so much demand and so much support, we're actually able to push the process of getting our transmission fixed on the coffee truck to be able to start building it again. So that's pretty much the whole situation that has been happening recently. I don't have any updates on when I will be back in Ontario, but I do plan on going back to the same location, and this time nobody's going to be able to kick me out even if they don't like the fact that I'm there. I'm planning on hosting a coffee party. I'm planning on having music, car club. I'm planning on having just like a fun event and coffee tasting and offering different things on my menu, because I've been working on a lot of new things, but because this whole situation happened, I had to push everything back. So now when I host this coffee party, I'm gonna have a lot of new things on my menu. I'm gonna have my matcha, I'm gonna have refreshers and more flavors for my Red Bull refreshers and things like that. So when I'm back, I'm gonna be hosting the coffee party. But before I continue, I wanna show you guys. So because I've been running out of stuff so much, I've had to restock on a lot of things. And yesterday, I was actually frantically looking for someone that could make stickers for me because I have no more stickers. I found someone. Their business is called Inland Bullies Printing, IB Printing, and they're located in Moreno Valley. I had made a post on my Instagram and I was like, guys, send me your small business friends. I need stickers printed, and people were sending me a lot of people, but there was one person that responded to me that was like, I can have the stickers ready for you by tomorrow. And I was like, okay, quick service. Let me see what this is about. So then he gave me prices, everything. I sent him my designs and he was like, okay, actually I can have them done for you by today. And I went to pick up the same day that I sent him all of my stuff, and mind you, he printed 300 stickers for me. This is like the OG logo that I've been using. It's like really sleek and it's a nice look. And this is my sticker that's going to be specifically for my matcha cups. This is only going to be for my matcha cups. But people have actually said that they want to buy one, so I'm actually going to be bringing all of these stickers out to sell. I'm going to have them in a couple of days. And this is the third sticker. This one is actually a newer design, something that I wanted to put on my cups. I actually have this on one of my carts. I have two carts. I have one where I take orders and then one where I make all my coffee. And so this is something that I have on my cart that I just wanted to make into a sticker for my cups. And again, this was printed by Inland Bullies Printing. You can look them up on Instagram. And he was really nice, good service, good quality stickers. These are really good quality stickers and fast service. 10 out of 10. So shout out to him for my stickers. So the reason why I wanted to do this and create a YouTube channel is just because I wanted to make more long form content for the people that like watching my stuff. I plan on recording my days throughout the week, restocking things, and recording when I'm selling coffee, recording me making everything, my interactions and things like that. I also wanted to post more content, more informational content, because a lot of my TikTok content is informational about coffee and starting a coffee business. I want to make more long form content on how to start it, how I started, and what things you need to do, the things that I bought when I first started, and things like that. I just want to share the information with everybody because when I started this business, I had nobody to help me. I knew people that had coffee carts, but not people that were willing to help me. So I figured a lot of it out on my own, and I realized that this stuff is not that hard to figure out. I'm the type of person that I'm willing to help people and share information and give what I can where I can. I don't believe in gatekeeping except for your coffee beans and like specific things that you use and like recipes. I know sometimes people don't like to share that, which is okay because businesses are allowed to have their own secrets. But I don't believe in gatekeeping everything, and I like to help people out. So this is why I wanted to make more long form content and why I'm making a YouTube channel. So the other day I made a post on my Instagram and I was asking people to drop questions and leave me questions, whether it be like about coffee or myself or my business, and I was gonna answer them on a video. So I'm gonna look at the questions. So I'm gonna start with the first question, and the first question is, was it hard to get your business going and how did you get yourself out there? I would say that it was really hard in the beginning because I didn't have any help. I was basically thrown out there and I had the support. I have a business partner, but my business partner is mainly like the one that takes care of like all the financial stuff, bookkeeping, taxes, all that stuff. I, on the other hand, take care of the fun stuff, the coffee, the actual business, the aesthetic, everything like that. He was like, do you want to start a coffee business? I said, okay. So then I basically wrote everything out, the business, the marketing, the plan, what I was going to do, what the vibe was going to be, where I was going to get coffee from, the drinks I wanted to have, the recipes, everything. I had to figure out how to start, how I was going to sell, how I was going to get into markets, what I had to do to get into markets, literally everything. So I was doing a lot of research, and a lot of people actually don't post about the things that you have to do in order to get started, and I think that kind of content would have been really helpful for me. But since a lot of people don't post about that, I had to figure everything out on my own. And I figured that, okay, I've seen people do coffee carts. I want to start a coffee cart. Then I looked into espresso machines and I was like, okay, what kind of machines should I start with? Should I start small? Like where am I gonna go? Mind you, this is like, when you start a business, not all the time is it guaranteed to be successful, which is why a lot of people never start and which is why a lot of people quit, because you're not guaranteed success. You're only guaranteed as much as you put into the business. Then I figured everything out. I was gonna start with a Breville. I was gonna start by selling off of a cart. I found my coffee. I found my recipes. I found a place to get cups. I got stickers. I made a design, everything. I was ready to go. I would say my first year, well, okay, so I've been in business a little bit over a year. I would say the first 6 months of business was me just putting myself out there. The only way I was able to put myself out there was by doing markets, because if you don't know, markets are more expensive if you are a food vendor, and technically coffee is considered a food vendor. What you put in to be in a market, including buying all the supplies, buying the health permit, paying for gas wherever you're driving to be in the market, paying for everything that you have to pay for before you even sell the coffee, you end up paying a lot. You spend a lot just to be in markets, and a lot of the time you don't make back what you spend, or you barely break even. Anyway, one of the biggest ways that I got myself out there while I was starting my business was putting myself into markets and selling at places that I kind of accepted that I wasn't really gonna make a lot of money. It did really good for me because I was getting really known in a lot of places. I would go to like Long Beach, LA, everywhere in the IE, Riverside. I would basically travel around everywhere, and a lot of people started to get to know me, and it also brought me a lot of catering requests and things like that. So I would say it was hard getting started, and I got myself out there by just putting myself in places to be seen. Okay, so my next question is, do you make sugar-free drinks? I am actually now starting to expand my menu to be able to offer sugar-free options. The next question is, what is your favorite drink? I think out of the drinks that I have, my favorite drink is probably the mazapan and my Spanish latte. I feel like the mazapan is just really good, and then the Spanish latte is just a classic that you can never go wrong with, and I really love it, and I love both of them with oat milk. Okay, next question is, what made you decide to make a coffee business? I've always had the idea of wanting to have a coffee shop one day. I just never really thought when it would happen, because I went to school for business and I knew that I was gonna have my own business. I didn't want to work for anyone, but I didn't know what business it was that was going to make me successful, or what business it was that I wanted to stick with. So I've had multiple businesses in the past. I'm really creative and I have a lot of ideas and I have a lot of interests, so I've tried to make businesses off of my different interests. Because of that, I've had multiple businesses in the past, and I remember one day I actually wrote on a piece of paper all of the businesses I wanted to have one day, and on there I wrote that I wanted to have a coffee shop. Didn't know how it was gonna happen, when it was gonna happen, no idea. A couple years down the line, I actually had met my partner, which led me to meeting my business partner. So then my business partner was like, hey, I have this idea, I have an opportunity to make a coffee shop, are you interested? So anyway, I was given the opportunity to start a coffee shop, and I just took the opportunity. I had no idea how to start it, no idea what to do, but the opportunity was there, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take it. This is something that I've been wanting to do. Didn't know how it was gonna happen, and now it's happening. That's kind of just how it started. Yeah, and it's just been a journey since then. The next question is, are you interested in opening up a storefront, and would you be open to partnering with someone? I do want to open up a storefront one day, and whether or not I would partner with someone would definitely depend, because I do already have a business partner. So obviously, business wise, it would have to be something that's worth partnering for me at least. And yeah, I think it would just depend. The next question is, how did you learn to be a barista? Are you having successful pop-ups? And you're awesome. Thank you. Fun fact, I actually used to work for what I call the Forbidden Coffee Shop. Coffee shop that everybody knows, coffee shop that almost everybody has worked at. But I used to work there for a while. I used to work at different locations. I also used to work at a smaller like mom and pop coffee shop and a coffee shop that was inside of a bookstore. So that's kind of how I learned like the tricks of being a barista. I learned about coffee, and I learned enough to be able to bring it into my business. Actually, recently I have been having really successful pop-ups because of everything that's been happening. It has just opened so many doors for me that luckily everything has just been going really good. And next question is, what is your favorite drink to make? I personally love making any drink on my menu, especially when someone orders it with cold foam. I like to make my cold foam a little on the thicker side, and I love putting like cinnamon and like all the little toppings on top and making it look cute. But I think all of my drinks are my favorite to make. I would say my least favorite drink to make is an Americano, just because I can't come to like Americanos. I've tried, even with flavoring, with a little bit splash of cream. I don't like them. They're easy to make, but I just don't like them. So they're my least favorite to make. And another one of my least favorites to make, I would definitely have to say, is hot drinks. I don't know why. I think just like making ice drinks is more like satisfying and it looks cute, but hot drinks are usually just in hot cups, and I don't know. So I think those are my least favorite drinks to make. Last question, I'm gonna end with this question. Congratulations on growing your business. Thank you. Would love to hear any advice to ensure success. The biggest advice I can be when starting a business is to literally just be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be the coffee shop you follow on Instagram because all of their videos go viral. Don't try to be the person that does all the trendy drinks, because when you are not showing yourself and who you are, it makes your business less personal. And I think especially nowadays, people like to support someone that is relatable, someone that is genuine, someone that they like them for their personality. People like to see who is running the business, who's the personality of the business, you know, like who are you in your business. I think when I started my business, I didn't want to show my face. I just wanted to post my coffee, get people to come, and that was it. But now look at me making a YouTube video and actually being the face of my business. It is so crazy. It has helped me a lot more because I'm able to show who I am. I'm able to show what I support, who I support, what I don't support, you know, things like that. And that actually connects me to my target audience. It connects me to the people that I want to serve coffee to, and it connects me to people that are likely to come buy my coffee and people that just genuinely like me as a person. I would say that my biggest advice is to be yourself in your business. Don't listen to when people tell you you have to hide certain things in your business, you can't mix business and politics, things like that. As long as you're staying true to yourself and to who you are, your business is going to be successful no matter what. And another piece of advice is to use social media. I can't tell you guys how much social media has helped me and how much people it has brought to me, especially recently. So be yourself and use social media. And also in any business, you have to have a certain aesthetic for people to want to keep watching your stuff, to like your posts. So I know there's like a lot of people who are just starting out with social media, but make sure that your stuff is also visually appealing. Make sure that you have a good logo, make sure you have a good business name. Things that people are going to remember is going to help your business. So I think that's all I have for today. I can't wait to record more, to post more. If you guys want to leave comments. Thank you for watching this whole video. It's a little weird to me to be recording long form content, but this is something that I just want to do. So leave a comment if you guys have any ideas on what I should talk about, what I should go over. I'm going to be showing you guys more of my coffee truck journey. I'm going to be showing you guys my brand new coffee cart that I'm building, and I'm also going to be showing you guys a lot of events that I'm doing. I have locked in some really cool events that I'm so excited to share with you guys, and I'll be recording all of the behind the scenes and everything, and I'm so excited for you guys to come along this journey and see everything. And I'm excited to hopefully inspire more people to start their own coffee cart, encourage people to start a business if they have a passion for it. And I'm just excited to post content. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back with another video.